Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the ShabinLife. I hope everybody enjoyed the last video that we put up, which was the stovepipe, the shiplap, and the trim. As you can see, the ceiling's pretty much all wrapped up. Dayna and I just got done hanging the ceiling fan, and it is a monumental day today because the scaffolding is coming out of the house. It's been in here for a year and a half, and finally we are clearing the room and we are moving the scaffolding out of the house. So it is very exciting. There was a lot going on and a lot has transpired since that last video, during that last video, that we didn't really get to talk about, or maybe I did a video of and just didn't like it, but lost my wedding ring, very sad. Found my wedding ring, very happy. Not without a lot of looking, but also had some good luck in some areas, which is nice with materials. Picked up our doors, got them all the way home. They were wrong, took them all the way back, reordered doors, waiting for doors. We were waiting for a stovepipe. Obviously that sort of got found, or else we wouldn't have been able to finish the ceiling, but very silly how we came across the stovepipe. Couldn't find 3-foot, 6-inch triple wall anywhere, and standing in a store, I literally turned around and there was 2 sections behind me, which I had already ordered for way more money than I should have paid. So fortunately, I bought the 2 that were right behind me and then sent back the ones that I bought real expensive. So it was a lot of craziness ensued. Our generator that runs the Shabin at nighttime kind of took a poo one night, and it wound up being my fault. And then when I fixed it, it must have been late and the oil dipstick fell into the snow and I didn't put it back together right. It was late and cold, man. So I started up, it was running great. I came back out, there was oil everywhere. So my truck wouldn't start one morning and it had a reduced engine power signal across the front dashboard, and yeah, that took a little while to fix. So it was a unique little bunch of days there, and sorry we don't videotape all that stuff, but we're filling it in now. Anyway, we did start clearing out the house so that we could start on the floors. We haven't really said much to you guys about the floors, mostly because we weren't really sure what we were doing. We kind of talked about it back and forth, and we've always loved the idea of a plywood floor. We hadn't done it really on this big of a scale before, but we kind of just decided that we were going to do a plywood floor. And you can do obviously different cabinet grade sheets, you know, oak and birch, and we're going to just use the radiator pine, mostly because it's available and it's not as expensive. It's about $10 less a sheet. It's a little softer, so we're going to try and do a little bit of a buildup with the poly, so it kind of helps it out a little bit. But we decided not to rip the sheets down into like 11-inch or 8-inch strips to kind of mimic a hardwood. We're actually just going to lay the whole sheet. We were lucky enough that it was a full unit when we waited for the wood to come in, so we hand-picked 32 sheets, which should be, I hope so. We say that, but I was short on the shiplap too. So, yeah, we picked up the sheets the other day, and we hand-selected 32 sheets, which was nice because we really got to kind of check out the sheets before we brought them home and make sure the edges and corners and the tops looked as nice as they could. And then when we got them back here, we loaded them into the house through the French doors, which was fun. Now we just spent the time moving them from the floor into the hallways in the back bedroom so that we can start clearing the room again to start laying the floor. But that's the hope for today, is to finish kind of getting things cleaned up here and start sweeping up and getting the floor prepped, and we're going to start laying the floor. And we want to try and do everything at once, but it's just not happening. There's not enough space. Speaking of space, I guess I forgot that we also bit the bullet and bought one of the Harbor Freight Cover Pro carports, which I guess we should have done months ago to put a lot of the stuff in the house outside, but at this point it was going to be too hard to move it around and do the floor. So we bought the carport the other day, and we spent most of yesterday putting it up. It was an adventure.
There were some tears.
Even after watching all the videos of people getting frustrated putting that thing together, which I'm not going to lie, it's actually pretty well built, but you know, I should have just listened to all of them and taken everyone's advice, because I wound up having to do everything that everyone suggested. The hardest part though is we don't have much level space right now, and we wound up putting it at the top of the driveway, and it's probably off grade by like 1.5 feet. So once you firm that thing up, it really does kind of straighten up, and it doesn't really allow you to kind of sit at a little oblong, which I was hoping for, but we had to build up the front of it with some pallets. But it all worked out. We got it screwed down late yesterday and put some big rocks on the pallets and put some of my old work tables in there to weight it down on the pieces of wood that we screwed the feet to. And then, of course, last night
was that big storm that came sweeping across with wind gusts of about 40 miles an hour. And I don't think Dave slept at all last night worrying about that.
I don't think the dog slept either. You know, he was like huddled up next to us because I think that was the first time that he had been in the shed while a big storm came through. But all I kept thinking was, we're going to get up and that thing's going to be gone. Yesterday when we were trying to get it seated, it was pulling us up, like it was pulling Dayna off the ground when it was lifting, when the wind came through. So I just figured it was going to, you know, be down the road a ways. But
it's a good use of space. I mean, it's a good space. We got a lot of the stuff out of the house.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff out of the house into the carport.
It's the 11x17 one, and it was on sale, so we picked it up. And yeah, we got most of the stuff we needed out there. And most of it was stuff that could sit out in the weather. I just, you know, I figured if it didn't have to be out there, we could wait as long as we could, and that's where we're at now. But so the hope is that we can lay this great room, and then all the way down the, was that grape? Did I say grape room? It's still early. We're going to lay it in the great room and then all the way down the hallway and basically stop. And then the pantry and the 2 bedrooms will be kind of treated as separate wood floor installs, if that makes any sense. And then there'll be a threshold between those doors. So the hope is that we can kind of get this done and then stain it and cover it. Get the bedrooms and the pantry done, stain it, cover it, or stain it and then basically go back and be able to poly everything at one time, or the bunch of coats of polish. I don't know, enough talking. And Dayna's just waiting to work because she loves work. And yeah, we'll see what we can get done today, and we'll bring you guys along. So stick around. All right, before I get started laying, I'll give you an idea of what I'm doing. So again, we're doing full sheets, 4x8 sheets. Really what was most important to me was where this door opened. I wanted a full sheet basically almost at that door entrance. It just worked out that it's full cut. And then obviously I'll stagger them the other way around. I just wanted to get this row started first. That way I could come back and mark this seam and make sure everything was nice and straight before I got started. That way I would know that everything after that would go nice and smoothly. So I'm gonna mark that with a pencil line, then we'll pull those boards up and we'll get started installing. All right, you ready? Are you start on it? Dayna and I got pretty much about 2/3 of the great room done in regards to the floor. We have a little bit of video, I don't know how well it turned out, of just us putting the sheets down. Basically just gluing and shooting them down with the nail gun, and it seems to be working out really well. I'm about to slide in this piece right here that kind of is a little bit of a Tetris cut, but everything's going pretty well so far. Once I kind of get out of this room, I'll work my way down the hallway and then do each of the rooms. And you know, hopefully we can then go back and stain everything and poly everything at once. But Dayna had to split out this morning for a couple days for work, so I'm kind of back at it by myself. It was awesome having her here to help me out. Obviously we moved a lot faster when it was the two of us, but I'm gonna get this piece in, then I got just a smidge cut on the next piece that's a full sheet, then a bunch of cut pieces to fill in, and then I can start working my way down the hallway. All right, so this is where we are after 2 days of install. Made it into the hallway here, and it looks nice so far. Haven't really hit any hiccups or anything like that, and for the most part, it's turning out looking really nice. I mean, it's full sheets. It really shouldn't be that difficult. But so this is day 2, or I should say this is after 2 days. Today would be day 3, and what I'm gonna do is, instead of starting down the hallway and sort of boxing myself in, because we're gonna be doing thresholds in the doorway, we're actually turning the floors in here to go this way instead of this way, as well as in this bedroom. So I've got this all cleared out. This was my workspace for the last couple days in order to do this floor. And now I've cleared this room out to make this room my workspace. once I'm done putting the floor in here, I think I'm going to have to throw down like a canvas tarp and use this room as my workspace, which should be interesting. Nothing like working on a finished floor, but I'm not really going to have any choice. But I'm going to get started on this floor today, and then hopefully lay this floor today. And the objective would be to lay the pantry and then lay the last 3 pieces in the hallway, and then we should be good to clean up and start staining. But so far so good. Stick around, more to come. Like I said, we'll probably pick up in the next video installing in these couple rooms, the pantry and the hallway, and then we'll sort of go from there. But